Relay for Life of Portland, and I'm here to talk to you about why I relay, as well as to talk to you a little bit about stomach cancer. Some of my statistics are slightly different than Cassie's, but that's okay. We'll just pretend they're the same. So, I relay for a number of reasons. I relay because my dad was diagnosed with stage 4 lymphoma on Friday, February 13th, 2009. I relay for my mom, who was diagnosed with stage 2 breast cancer on Monday, April 5th, 2010, and then stage 3 breast cancer on Monday, March 25th, 2013. I relay for my friend Brittany, who was diagnosed with stage 2 cervical and uterine cancer while we were in college. I relay for my coworker Jerry, who passed away from esophageal cancer in 2013. I relay for my friend Andrea's fiance, who was diagnosed with testicular cancer this past February. I relay for my best friend's dad, who died from esophageal cancer while we were in college. I relay because I could go on and on with this list for how many people I know with cancer, and that's just ridiculous. I relay because I hope that one day no one will have to hear the words, "you have cancer." I relay for more birthdays, and I relay for a cure. I relay because I have seen firsthand how the money that we raise and donate helps support the research, education, services, and advocacy of the American Cancer Society. I relay because I have seen firsthand how the money that we raise allows the American Cancer Society to help people stay well, get well, find cures, and fight back against cancer. And so I'm going to talk about 5 programs really quickly that I have seen happen. So the first time my mother went through breast cancer, cancer was new to her, besides my dad's cancer, it was new to her. And so I was in college in Boston, and she was mostly alone. And so she happened to find the 1-800 number with the American Cancer Society and called it at all hours of the night multiple times. And the great thing about that is that it's 24/7, so 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Someone will answer the phone. You can be a cancer patient, a caregiver, a survivor, a random person who just wants to find out more information. You can ask them questions. They can provide a listening ear, provide support, give certain advice, and also direct you towards resources that you have at your disposal. So it's a really great resource. It's the National Cancer Information Center, the 24/7 hotline. And all of you should have the 1-800 number in your phones. So if you don't, you should take out your phones right now and put it in your phone. And so all of you should take out your phones, put it in your phone. So it's 1-800-227-2345, and that's 1-800-227-2345. I can also tell this to you later too if you want to finish eating. But that's just a number that you could always give it to someone. You never know when you're going to run into someone who might need it. So I'd recommend holding on to that. The second program is the Reach to Recovery program, which connects breast cancer patients with breast cancer survivors. And so my mom used that the second time she had cancer because she had the lymph nodes on the upper left side of her body removed. And so it was a huge lifestyle change for her since she no longer could get hurt on that side, even basic paper cuts, sunburn, things like that. And she also had to now deal with lymphedema and swelling, so flying to CUNY in Portland and flying anywhere was a huge issue. And so talking with the people with the Reach to Recovery program, with the other breast cancer survivers, she found other people who had gone through similar things as her, and they also could give her tips to help her cope with the new side effects she was going to have for the rest of her life. And the third program is the Road to Recovery program. So my coworker Jerry, who passed away from cancer in 2013, he was diagnosed with cancer, but he didn't drive, and he had to figure out how to get from his home to his cancer treatments on the opposite side of the city. And I remember one day at work hearing him arguing with insurance companies and trying to figure out if there was a way for him to get from point A to point B. And so I suggested the Road to Recovery program and didn't really push it on him. I just mentioned what it did and then kind of forgot about it. And a month later, I found out that he had actually been using the Road to Recovery program and that it made a huge difference in his life. Although he ultimately passed away from cancer a few months later, the Road to Recovery program did make a huge difference during the months that he went through his treatment. And so basically, nice people donate their cars, they drive their cars to pick up people, they drive them to their appointments, and then they drive them back home. And it's all free for the people who are volunteering and for the people who need it. And so it's just a really great service for people who need to be able to get to and from their appointments. And I actually wish that I had known about it when my friend Brittany went through cancer during college, because her parents lived in Florida, and we went to college in Boston where none of us drove. And so she had to take cabs and public transportation to her surgery and to her chemo appointments. So if we had known about Road to Recovery, that would have been a lot easier. The fourth program is the Hope Lodge, which you don't see it as much out here, but they have it on the East Coast a lot, and they're starting to move out west. But it provides free lodging for cancer patients and a caregiver who live far away from their treatments where commuting isn't possible. And so in college, I volunteered at the Hope Lodge as part of our Relay for Life group. And we basically baked cookies, but we got to talk and interact with the patients and learn that it really was a great thing that they wouldn't have been able to get the treatments necessary if they didn't have the Hope Lodge to provide them lodging. And then the last thing is research. So all of the money you raise also supports cancer research. And so I'm sure a lot of you guys know some of the things ACS has, found out, such as that smoking causes lung cancer. But also it's found a lot of great chemotherapy drugs. And so one of the drugs that my mom took the second time she had breast cancer actually was partially funded, I guess, by ACS and Discover and stuff. So there's a lot of great things that your money supports, Reach to Recovery, Road to Recovery, the Hope Lodge, National Cancer Information Center, research. And so that's why I relay. And I'm going to tell you some stomach cancer stuff really fast. So all the programs I've listed can be used by stomach cancer patients except Reach to Recovery because that's breast cancer related. So where I have found statistics was that stomach cancer was the third leading cause of cancer deaths worldwide.
Did I say third?
Wow.
I don't know. You said something about 10.
No, it's not in the top 10 anymore.
All right, well, whatever. It's okay. It's the fourth most common cancer in the world. Stomach cancer is more common in developing countries, and it mostly affects older people. The rate of new cases of stomach cancer is more than 4 times higher in Asia compared with Africa, with the highest incidence of stomach cancer being in the Republic of Korea. And Cassie mentioned this briefly, but it's thought to be higher incidence of stomach cancer due to diets, such as higher incidence of nitrates and nitrites in foods, genetic variations, viruses, and H. pylori bacteria prevalence. Eastern Asia has the highest mortality rate, while U.S. has a lower mortality rate. The decline in stomach cancer mortality in developed countries like the U.S. is due to mass screenings and refrigeration. And if you want more information on stomach cancer or any of the ACS programs, you can talk to me after. Thank you.
Good job.